I cannot believe he said this. As Dave Dombrowski faced the Phillies media following their postseason exit, he had some interesting comments regarding the franchise centerpiece Bryce Harper, seemingly casting some doubt to if he can return to the superstar level that is expected. Will this be a wake-up call to Bryce Harper, or was this a bit of stirring a pot in the direction that should not be the case by the general manager? I do want to dive into exactly what was said, why I'm surprised this did came out, and also give Rob Thompson a little bit of love for seemingly having his guys back. So to dive right into things here, I do just want to start off with the full quote from this, which John Clark tweets out saying, Phillies president Dave Dombrowski says he does not know if Bryce Harper can be an elite player again. Bryce Harper turned 33 today. Quote, he is still a quality player. He is still an all-star caliber player. He did not have an elite season like he has in the past. I guess we'll only find out if he becomes elite if he continues to be good. Can he rise to the next level? I don't really know the answer. He is the one that will dictate that. I don't think he is content with the year that he had, and it wasn't a bad year, but when you think of Bryce Harper, you think of elite. You're thinking of one of the top 10 players in baseball. I don't think it fit into that category. He is a very good player. Now, I'll start with, I just don't think this needed to be said, like, whatsoever. And even when the question was asked like that, when listening through the press conference, like, live and in time, it felt like Dombrowski, like, you didn't have to go there, man. Like, you didn't have to, like, dig that deep in. You can give a fluff answer. Bryce Harper is the face of this franchise. Bryce Harper battled through some stuff this year. We have the utmost belief in Bryce, but that was not the direction that Dombrowski chose to go whatsoever. And I have a couple theories why. For starters, first, let's acknowledge what Bryce Harper did this year. His stats on the season, he had 27 home runs, 75 RBIs, a .357 on-base percentage there. Across his 501 at-bats, had 131 hits while striking out 121 times. He is 33 years old. And once again, those are great statistics by your average player standard. The problem here being is Bryce Harper is not expected to be your average player. And part of this is the standard is so high for what he set for himself. And I think everyone is still a bit in their feels after that postseason exit where Bryce Harper did not look like the Bryce Harper that you hope to be the case. And when I speak about setting these standards so high, we're talking about a kid that at 22 years old, that Bryce Harper recorded a 9.7 WAR when he won his first National League MVP at age 22. That he's one of just 6 players in MLB history to record a 9.7 WAR season before the age of 23, joining Mike Trout, Ted Williams, Rogers Hornsby, Ty Cobb, and Eddie Collins. Some strong names there. And to add that a little further to the list of accomplishments, that he's a 2-time National League MVP, a 4-time Silver Slugger, an 8-time All-Star, the 2022 NLCS MVP. He's got 1,801 hits, 1,105 walks, 401 doubles, 363 home runs, 1,051 RBIs, 152 stolen bases, and a .280 hitter with 142 OPS plus. Bryce was on the cover of Sports Illustrated at the age of 16 in 2009. Impossible hype to live up to, but I think he did a pretty damn good job. And I do think that specific point gets lost a lot in the Bryce Harper shuffle, is this dude was hailed as the next great thing in baseball, and boy has he lived up to that to the fullest extent. But it does not seem like Dave Dombrowski is completely in on this concept continuing. Now, my one theory here, or my biggest theory here, is this is a kick in the butt from Dave Dombrowski, that this is tough love directed at Bryce Harper. Because we've heard the talks of, Bryce, I want an extension already. I want more money, that I want to be locked up here long term. And for what it's worth, he is not going anywhere. That to make it crystal clear, and look at his contract just now, that he is still on the books. Not for 1 more, not for 2 more, not for 3 more, not 4, not 5, but 6 more seasons that he is under contract to be in a Phillies uniform. That he'd be 38 at the time of that conclusion of the contract there. And again, we've heard the reports of Bryce Harper wanting extension talks last summer. Did not come to fruition, and likely for good reason, and certainly for good reason if Dave Dombrowski is not under the belief that he can return to the form that has been him at his peak. Now, I think a lot of this is still a little bit of emotions are live. That obviously they just got eliminated from the playoffs for the 4th consecutive year, that they've taken strides back, and I don't think this year falls in that exact same category. Like, one of the things Dombrowski did say today, which I honestly agree with, even if it didn't go over on the best of ears, and people certainly had problems with this quote, like, I feel better about this postseason exit than I did last year. The Dodgers are a wagon. That pitching is unbelievable, and we're seeing what they're doing to the Brewers right now. Like, at the time of recording this, they're up 3-0, and I think they've given up, 1 run, 2 run all series here. Like, it's been unbelievable from Blake Snell to Yamamoto to Tyler Glass. Now you can run down the list. They're the defending World Series champions for a reason, and clearly have invested in pitching at a level that has been absurd there. The Phillies, I don't think, had a bad plate approach. Like, it wasn't like the Mets series where they were out there swinging at nothing and frustrating at bats. I think they played relatively good baseball. They just lost in the margins in a couple difficult spots there, man. The Orion Kirkring throw home. Trey Turner, if that throws on the other side of the plate. And I get it. This is still a loser's mentality. At the end of the day, you got to check rock, play ball, and be better than your opponent. And the only real critique that I have for Dave Dombrowski at this specific press conference was the quote about we ran into the wrong matchup. Like, that's not okay, because this team's designed to win a World Series where we're the wrong matchup for every single team that should face. And I think it's just kind of a loser's mindset to look at that. But I do get where he's coming from. That this Dodgers team is legitimately good. One of the more talented teams that I can remember across baseball. Like, this pitching staff is some of the most, some of the deepest and most effective arms that we've really seen. So I get where he's coming from here. But I do think that we're used to Bryce Harper being Superman in the postseason. And he's had those moments. It has been bedlam at the bank. He's gotten that clutch home run before. And he was not that guy this year. And he had his chances, which makes it a little bit worse than that. Now, I do want to give credit to Rob Thomson, who I mentioned seemingly had his guys back here, because Rob Thomson was asked that similar question after a couple minutes later when he took to the stand. And what Rob Thomson said is, quote, I think he is highly motivated to have the best year of his career next year. And I do hope this is the mentality from Bryce Harper, which, to be perfectly honest, I would guess that it is. That I think the first person in the world that would put his hands up and say Bryce Harper was not good enough in these playoffs would be Bryce Harper himself. That is how that dude is wired. That he deserves a bit more credit than I think he's getting for the way that he's carried himself, the way that he's changed this organization, the way he's been the face of the franchise, has lived up to not only the hype on the field, but has started to build a culture around him. Like, all this has started with Bryce Harper, the Kyle Schwarber addition, the Nick Castellanos coming in. They're turning this team from a lifeless baseball organization, which it was for several years. After the 08 and 09 run, where it was the Ryan Howard and Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins era, it went downhill, man. There were some ugly years. You can run through the Dubal Herrera era. You can run down a list of names of plenty of guys who we all forgot here. And then it got built back up again right around Bryce Harper. I get the frustration. I get the wound is fresh. But I did not need to hear this from Dave Dombrowski. Who knows? Maybe this is how you get Bryce going, and maybe this leads to the best season of his career where he's ready to open up those pocketbooks and book that extension next year. I'm just kind of confused once again why this came out. Once again, the quote that is really sticking there with Bryce Harper, as I accidentally click a wrong button here, is just the doubt that this guy can return to form. And with that exact quote, what it is looking like here is for Bryce Harper directly, can he rise to that next level again? I don't really know the answer. He's the one that will dictate that more than anything else. And to give it the full read once again, he is still a quality player. He is still an all-star caliber player. He did not have an elite season like he's had in the past. I guess we will only find out if he becomes elite or if he continues to be good. Can he rise to the next level again? I don't really know the answer. He's the one that will dictate that. I don't think he is content with the year that he had, and it wasn't a bad year, but when you think of Bryce Harper, you think of elite. You're thinking of one of the top 10 players in baseball. I don't think it fit in that category. He is a very good player. It's fair. Like, he's not wrong, but you didn't have to say it, is kind of my take to Dave Dombrowski back. I'm surprised because I think in general, Dave Dombrowski is pretty polished with his media skills, pretty calculated in what he's saying like this. He was a little bit more open today between the Nick Castellanos comment and, of course, this about Bryce, but pretty stunned that this is what came out of the postseason presser. That was not a soundbite that I was expecting to be able to work with or a topic point for a video here. I thought Bryce Harper would pretty much dodge any sort of shrapnel from the postseason, but ultimately, that is how the chips fall. So we'll see if Bryce gets any sort of response to that, whether it's publicly, behind the scenes, if Dombrowski ended up catching any heat for it. But nonetheless, it is out there at this point. That has been put on the record, and we'll see ultimately what happens from here. But we'd love to hear from you guys what you think about that. I honestly don't love it, that I wish it was not said from Dombrowski right there, that I think it should be in unison as an organization, that the general manager should have his best players back in every public forum, and I did not feel that's exactly how that quote came off. But let me know if you guys think I'm in the wrong in that overall mindset here. If you have any thoughts, if there's more nuance to the specific question there, drop your comments below. Anything else that you got, appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I know it is beginning of the offseason, but we're going to keep plugging along right here on Phillies Digest from start to finish. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button to keep tabs with us. Drop a like on the video below and make sure you're dropping your comments in there. I'll be back talking to you next time right here on Phillies Digest. Peace.